Risk analysis and management entails numerous factors, too numerous to list on one slide. We have organized the process into 4 categories. First, identifying events and their possible sources or causes. Second, risk assessment and analysis entails deriving ratio scale measures of likelihood and impact, computing risk as a product of the two. Third, identifying ways to reduce risks with treatments to reduce source likelihoods, treatments to reduce vulnerabilities of events to sources, and treatments to reduce the impact of events on objectives. And fourth, deciding which treatments to implement, possibly with an optimization model. Let's look at each of these 4 categories in a bit more detail. Subsequent videos will examine each in even more detail. First, a risk or risk event, or event for short, is something that might happen, and if it happens would result in a loss to one or more objectives. We can also identify sources or causes of the events. These sources or causes might also be referred to as hazards or threats. To distinguish a source from an event, we will emphasize that an event has a loss, whereas a source or cause has no loss in and of itself. For example, a rusting drum of gasoline exposed to the elements is a source of a risk. The drum may leak and cause a fire, which entails a loss. The fire is the event, which has associated losses, but the rusting drum is not a risk, it is a source of risk, which might also be referred to as a cause or hazard. Second, the assessment and analysis of risk includes deriving ratio scale measures of event likelihoods, ratio scale measures of event impacts, analyzing the resulting product or risk, and communicating the risks using a risk register, heat map, and bow tie diagrams. We will look at these later in another video. Third, after identifying and measuring risks, we identify ways to reduce the risks with treatments to reduce source likelihoods, treatments to reduce vulnerabilities of events to sources, and treatments to reduce the impact of events on objectives. We also measure or estimate the anticipated effectiveness of the treatments to the sources, events, and consequences. Fourth, after identifying treatments and evaluating their anticipated effectiveness, we consider their costs and other resource requirements in deciding which of the treatments to implement. In some cases, we can do this with an optimization algorithm.